So I keep seeing on my social media at the moment of Japan has too much tourism, record-breaking numbers. They're getting more tourists every year, and they keep going how the Japanese people are sick of it. And my question I want to ask today: is there actually too much tourism in Japan? And my answer is yes and no. I think there's too much tourism in the big cities. There's too much tourism in Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, but you go away from the big cities, there is hardly any tourism, or there is not as much tourism in more of the countryside areas. A great example is where I live now, is Shikoku. We don't often see many tourists in Shikoku. You know, when I walk around, I get the gaijin stare, which is basically called the foreigner's stare, where the locals, it's not often they see a foreigner around here. So when they actually see one, they will give you a long, hardcore stare because they're just not used to seeing someone from another country. And that's where I think a lot of these issues lie with the hate a lot of the tourism are getting in Japan, because they're all going to the big cities. And I really think over the next couple of years, Japan should focus in trying to spread the tourism out, so you go explore different parts of other areas of Japan. Because I will tell you this now, I personally think Tokyo's a bit meh. I don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed Tokyo every time I have gone there. But I think the problem with Tokyo is it's becoming a hub because that's where all the work is, where everyone's moving, where all the younger people, everyone's just kind of flocking to Tokyo or even the bigger cities just because there's more opportunities to grow and work. That's because that's where everyone is currently is in Japan. You know, I've shown a map before where everywhere pretty much in Japan is shrinking apart from Tokyo. And that's just because all the opportunities are there. Where I personally think Japan should be focusing, especially over the next couple of years, how can we push people out of Tokyo and make them go to other elements of Japan? This is also tourism and also people living, I think, as well. Because I think they're going to have this issue, and I think this issue is happening now, where the rest of Japan is shrinking because there's just not as many opportunities or elements to grow, where because there's not many opportunities there and they have to go to Tokyo because that's where all the opportunities to grow, flourish and expand is. Which, Tokyo is very nice, but I just think there's other elements of Japan that is also beautiful, also really nice, and I just think they're getting the lack of resource opportunity to actually show what their town has to offer. And I think for tourism, if you move some of the tourism elements out, you can get other people to at least kind of show and see what else Japan has to offer. I think one of my big things for this, the next time there is a big amusement park that Japan builds, I personally think they should put it somewhere a bit more in the countryside, because tourists, if they really want to go to it, tourists will still go to it regardless where it is in location wise of Japan. And Japan is a pretty well connected area. Most things are connected fairly okay. I think elements could be connected better, but overall you can get to A and B pretty easily with planes and trains. Because my hot take is, well, I think for the Pokemon Park, it's kind of built around sort of the outer skirts of sort of Tokyo way, which is fine, but I kind of think stick it somewhere else, because especially for Pokemon, people will go to the base wherever it goes. I personally think the new Pokemon Park should have been put somewhere else in Japan, especially where an area where they've got lower number of tourism, just to bring the tourism up. It promotes more jobs, opportunities. It just brings more people to go to that area of the town. And I kind of think if another amusement park idea does come, I personally think they should put it on Shikoku. I think Shikoku is an island that definitely a lot of people don't know about Japan. It's the fourth biggest island. Granted, I was the same before I got placed there. I didn't know where Shikoku is, but I think Shikoku is a very interesting island where I think there's so much more opportunity. You can make this island grow. You can help, because this is an island that the tourism is not very big. The population is going down fast. I think this is a good little place. You could put something to kind of help bring people to come down, have a look, increase jobs, increase promotion. I think Shikoku would be a good little island just to put like a next big tourist amusement park or something. I think this is a chance, and also because it's an island, but it is connected to the mainland. it is an element where there's not much kind of being put into this island. I think it's something that you could get tourism to come, bring jobs. Yeah, I just kind of think if there's a big next amusement park or just something that they're putting in for tourism or a new like business idea, they should put something on Shikoku. It'll bring tourists down, so it moves some of the tourism out of the bigger cities, and it also increases jobs opportunities on the island. Because let me tell you, with living on Shikoku now, it's super rare to find people my age who actually live on this island who are not already married. Most of the people I know who are my age are the other foreigners working as an English teacher here. There's not many people sort of in their mid 20s, early 30s, unless they're already married with kids and they want to raise their kids in the countryside. But I've also met people who were born and raised on this island as well. And I've always met them in the bigger cities. And they all say the same thing. They love their island, they love Shikoku, but there was no job opportunities for them to grow. Or if they want to make more money, they had to move to the bigger cities. So those are those small signs there, there's not as many opportunity wise on this kind of island. So everyone flocks to the bigger city. So it's something I kind of think, especially the next couple of years, they need to focus on pushing the city, people out the city. Now, I did hear Tokyo does have like a little pay scheme where they'll sort of give you, I think it was roughly about $7,000 if you did move out. But on the long scheme, I think not many people do it because I think $7,000 is not enough on the greater scheme to kind of push someone out of Tokyo to go somewhere else in Japan. So they are sort of trying, but the schemes obviously doesn't seem desirable enough. I think the hardest thing with Tokyo as well, Tokyo is very well connected. You can get to many things very easily from Tokyo. It's just a very good hub where things are connected, where I will say the more countryside you go, the less connections there are. And it is kind of a give and take, because if there's no people in the countryside, a lot of the public transport resources do shut down. One was really interesting for where I live currently for my friend, about 2 or 3 towns over. So there used to be a bus that used to run hourly, but the population is starting to decline so much now that bus company is actually losing money if they run the bus every hour. So now that bus doesn't run anymore, but it only runs if you phone up the local bus company, tell them you need a bus, and they'll get a bus just for you specially. So that service now works on like a call base, because having it run hourly just wasn't making enough money. It's the same thing for what I've heard with one of the local train lines here. They're sort of debating what to do with it, because apparently over the last year it hasn't been making money, and they're sort of debating, do we try and keep it open, or do you kind of reduce the line, or do you shut down the line completely? And the thing is, if you shut down the line completely, you then kind of you lose people people who use the train now. Because I have used this local train just to go see my friends in their towns. Granted, this train line is never super busy, but it's also one that it's a local one. But if also they did cut it completely, this one also kind of connects to Kochi going this way. So if they did cut it, you lose a local train line that took you to another prefecture. I mean, most people down here drive, but when you get elderly, and you can't drive and you have to rely on others, and if you lose the public transport, it's all those kind of small things. You lose the public transport. People who do live here now currently, you sort of kind of push them out into, well, why do I want to stay here? Because I can't use as much public transport. It's not as frequent as I want to be. I can't get out of my house because the public transport's not great. It's the same thing with the local movie theatres. It's an hour and a half from here. So it's all those kind of small things. You chip away at all those resources. People then sort of go, I don't know if I want to live here. I want to move somewhere where I can get like a bus every hour, or my local movie theatre is only down the road. It's those small things, but it's a give and take, because if the people aren't living here, you are going to have to shut down these lines and services, because obviously no one's going to them, no one's using it, no one's making any money. So it's a really hard balance, because you need people to keep these lines open, but if you're not having them, then you're not going to open them, and then no one's going to want to move down. So it's a really hard give and take. But I just think my biggest thing with the tourism at the moment is there's just too much tourism in one certain areas of Japan. And I kind of think, over the next it's kind of hard because I think at the moment Japan is the it country at the moment. Everyone wants to come to Japan, where maybe when the yen starts getting stronger, or people kind of get tired of Japan, maybe when like it no longer is seen as like the it country, and people go somewhere else. It's a hard thing because they've put more taxes in now and elements to make it a little bit more expensive for foreigners. You know, some of those things might annoy sort of foreigners coming and they go, oh, I think I'd want to go visit somewhere else. So it's one of those interesting things where at the moment they're having it's not fine, but it's one of those things where there's ways to kind of come around it, but it's also that how long will Japan be like the it place to travel at the moment? Because probably when the yen gets stronger again, it's not going to be as popular to go visit. But I think it still will. You know, many people do want to come to Japan. It's yeah, I just think my biggest thing at the moment, let's say the tourism's not going to die down, it's going to get more and more and more. But I kind of think over the next sort of let's say next 10 years, if any more tourist attractions come, or even current ones now, if you can move the base, I personally think the bases just need to be a bit more spread around Japan. You know, I think that's the biggest way to kind of tackle some of this popular tourism crisis. You know, stop having it all in one hub, spread it around Japan, because the tourists will come to them. You know, they really want to go to these items, they will go to it wherever it is in Japan. It's the same thing with some of these festivals as well. You know, I've seen there's a big festival currently or just outside of Tokyo that they've gone like the cherry blossom season is cancelled, but it's only the festival that has cancelled. You know, the cherry blossom season is still happening, and just because that one has decided not to run because it's they say due to the tourist, there's other festivals, especially for cherry blossom season in Japan. Just, you know, do a little bit of research, put cherry blossom season festival. You'll find there's still many festivals going around Japan for the cherry blossom season. It's just not one big one where all the tourists go. And again, all the tourists go because it's near Tokyo. You just got to spread the tourism out. That's my biggest thing. I think if Japan can kind of next 10 years figure out how can we spread the tourism out, how can we get people out of Tokyo and going to other prefectures, I think they will have a much less issue because it's just a bit more spread out. I think that's the biggest issue. There's too many in one small area. But yeah, that's kind of my little rant and thoughts of the current situation of the tourism, because I just keep seeing it on my feed at the moment about too much tourism in Japan. How can we fix it? And I think the simple thing is just we got to get them out of the cities. That's the simple thing. Just spread it along the whole country of Japan. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my rants. What's your thoughts and opinions down below? I'd love to have a little conversation about the whole tourism going on in Japan currently. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. If there's any other videos you want me to see where I just sort of have a little rant and talk to you guys, let me know. And I'll see you next time. Bye.